Hi guys, Alex Holmstrom, and this is the Alex at Bat podcast. And we have Jason Holmstrom. When it comes to anything to do with current athletic throwback or current sports news, we will always be at bat. In today's episode, Jason Holmstrom will start us off.
Well, our one and only topic tonight is going to be about the Sixers because the Sixers are going to be playing in a couple minutes and we're going to catch that game on television. But it was not, well, okay, let's start from the beginning. Game one in the, at Boston, they pulled it out. It was looking good. Harden had poured in 45. Embiid wasn't back yet, but that was all the more encouraging because we're like, wow, this was a really fast up-tempo game without Embiid. They really pulled it together, came through, so we were really excited. And then what happened the next two games?
So the next two games we had Joe Embiid who came back. Everyone. I thought maybe that we could have still kept our winning streak up with Joe Embiid now. It brings a little extra momentum for our side. That hasn't been the case for the last two games, but the third game the third game I've had playing, which is technically the fourth game in that series that turned out with some good news, even with Joe Embiid on the court.
Yeah, they had been leading in game four. Well, first of all, they got spanked in the second game by like 40 points, I think it was. Beating the third. And Harden was like kind of reverting back to the Harden of old, not doing very well. And a lot of turnovers, ton of turnovers, and especially in that third game. But fourth game, at home, crazy crowd. They were taking it to the Celtics like the whole game. They were leading by, I don't even know what, I think by 12, maybe 14 they were leading by at a certain point. But then slowly but surely, I think 7 or 8 minutes left of the fourth quarter, the Celtics started coming back and chopped the lead down to 5 and then chopped the lead down to 2 and then we're up by 1 with a couple minutes left. But the Sixers fought their way back. PJ Tucker had a real kind of important foul. He got fouled for an and one, made the bucket and sunk the free throw to tie it up, I think it was, and put it into overtime. And then in overtime, it was Harden actually who sunk the three-pointer for the go-ahead. Quick little scare with Marcus Smart coming down and sinking a three, but it was well after the buzzer. So that was it. Encouraging. What are you thinking about Game 5 here? That's going to be up in Boston, I believe.
So Game 5. So my notes, or I would say my ways on how the Sixers will be able to pull off this win, if they're able to contain their best players, which was in the series, it was Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum. Even Al Horford played pretty good. So, I mean, if the Sixers are able to contain those guys, they have their chances of winning goes up a lot higher. They need to stop doing is letting when they play zone. You see a lot of those like open shots, just an easy bucket. You can't do that if you want to win the series. So I think that if you have to contain, the 76ers need to do a better job of containing their best players, the Celtics' best players to win the game. I think that if you play maybe like more man, there's a harder chance if it's the right matchup, whoever the man is, if it's the right matchup, it's going to be a good chance that the Sixers can win that matchup on defense, because that's always been a concern. Towards the end of the game, they got lucky that Marcus Smart missed that three-pointer, I believe that's who it was. And then they went to overtime, and then they missed another shot, but there was already time was expired. You can't do those. You gotta put pressure on the offense to play your tempo, to play your style of basketball. So, and then everything will flow, I think. And then if they can do all those things, I think they have their chances of winning goes up really high.
Yeah, something I'd like to see them continue to do. Something that was positive in Game 4 that I'd love to see in Game 5 was the pressure that they put on the Celtics early. Jaylen Brown was talking to the press after the game and was saying, "Listen, the Sixers just." They showed the referees what type of game it was going to be. It was going to be a physical game. It was the Sixers brand of basketball, and the refs were like, basically, the refs were like, okay, they're deciding what the tempo is. This is what it's going to be, and we'll officiate accordingly. And he said that's where the Celtics really kind of missed the train early. They should have been more aggressive earlier and battled back and kind of taken control of the game, whereas the Sixers did. And I'd like to see the Sixers do that, especially going back up to Boston's home court, to really take that physical basketball up there. One thing I'd like to see them change, specifically, you talked about man-to-man coverage. Al Horford did an amazing job of covering Joel Embiid. I'd like to see Embiid be a little bit more aggressive. PJ Tucker called him out after the game, was like, listen, one-on-one, he's like, I've seen every matchup. Joel Embiid wins them all. There's no reason Al Horford, and he's like, no disrespect to Al Horford, great basketball player. There's no reason on the face of this earth that man should be able to cover Embiid. So I'd like the Sixers to play that physical brand of basketball that they brought in Game 4. I'd like to see Embiid raise it up against Al Horford and take charge there, and then just kind of let the Sixers do what they do. I'm a big Paul basketball Reed fan. I like to see him every time Joel goes out. We can actually breathe a sigh of relief because I really believe Reed can hold it down. So continue to see him do that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that Joe Embiid, if he looked at it like, oh, this guy just, doesn't think that, he's saying this just to be a, jerk or anything. But I think that the thing is that I think that criticism from what PJ Tucker said about, no disrespect to Al Horford, that should tell him and Al Horford, that should say to Joe Embiid, I need to play better. And then Al Horford's thinking probably I should just keep on doing the same thing because there's no I agree with what he says. I mean, any basketball player, I don't care if it's against LeBron James, Joe Embiid should win whoever he's going against. This team needs him in the playoffs. This team's depending on him. I mean, they do got depth, but they're counting on him to make those shots, those easy 2-pointers, and if he's not making them, it's going to be a rough one for the team, and it's going to be hard for them to win. I think that Joe Embiid has to have a good game tonight and win those one-on-one matchups with Al Horford. He made some good, he made that dunk. I mean, all those shots that could have been avoidable. I think that definitely playing man-on-man is definitely going to help limit those big plays by the Boston Celtics tonight. And that is definitely going to be a good matchup. It's all they're going to talk about is Joe Embiid, versus the Jason Tatum, the Marcus Smart and all of that, and Al Horford. So, those are going to be the big key players on the Celtics and the 76ers that are going to be mentioned a lot. So that's definitely going to be something to look forward to.
Yep, I think that about rounds it out. So the only thing we have left to do at this point is go up and watch this game and see what happens. So best of luck to the Sixers. We're looking forward to a big game tonight. And I'll let you take us home.
Yep, so this is going to end the pregame show for the Philadelphia 76ers. We're going to end it right here. Hopefully the Sixers win. And see you next episode. Goodbye.